Good. I want to welcome everybody to our fourth presentation for this camp meeting. Let's open with a word of prayer. Holy God, we thank you. Help us to sift through all of our prejudices and our biases. Help us to turn our attention to this hour of study, to put away all of our distractions and things that would confuse us. Help us to be attentive of what you're trying to tell us today. In Jesus' name, amen. Magda, could I ask you a question? Could I ask you a question? If you're willing? Yes? So, Magda, could you tell us what are we doing and why are we doing it?
So we are looking if there's two entities or one entity. In Revelation 17, we see there's two entities.
Pozeráme sa na to, či je jedna entita alebo dve entity v rámci zjavenia 17.
We were looking that there is panoramic view or the dispensational. And then we were putting what the symbols means. So the beast is a state. And then we had a discussion about a woman. And we did put ideology of something. And I think we did agreed it cannot be state. And we were discussing what is the something. We didn't get to that actually.
You told us what. Why are we doing this? Why do you think we're doing this? You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Does anybody else have a thought? Why are we doing this? Thomas? Oh, you had your hand up, Monica? We'll do Monica first because she's next to you.
I think we are trying to find a principle that works for the panoramatical view. And then we can apply it to our own dispensation.
All done? Thomas? Just tell us why we're doing this.
Um besser zu verstehen oder nachvollziehen zu können, aufgrund der Kontaktlehre der verschiedenen Unterrichte, besser zu verstehen und das dann auch nachvollziehen zu können.
Because we have the son-in-law messages and we need to understand better. And this will help us to understand the son-in-law messages better.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oh. Sorry, what's your... No, no one else. I just wanted a couple of people. I know everybody, I know we had other hands up. So if we're not careful, we will bring our biases, which is our prejudices, into our studies and conversations. And it's very difficult to avoid doing that. And you'll have experienced in your own behavior and in the behavior of other people that they tend not to speak in general terms, but they speak in specific terms. Which means we keep on having these ideas that the woman is the church, or some variation of that. And it becomes difficult, if you're not careful, to avoid going down that track. So I've sent 2 documents today. You don't have to refer to them now if you don't want to. They're both on ideology. They're not my documents. And both of them give a history stroke definition of the word of ideology. It's a bit more comprehensive than the one I gave before. You'll see that the word is French in origin. It comes, I think it's from the Greek. Let me check. Yeah, it comes from the Greek, made of 2 words. And if you look through the history of it, you'll see that it's meant different things to different people at different times. And even though it was coined in France, as part of the French Revolution, so that's its kind of history. Its roots come from the Enlightenment period that was in England by a person that I think we've all heard before. And who was that? Who would that be? You don't need to look at the document. Anybody remember his name? John Locke. So you see that John Locke is so influential in many of the things that we look at. So he had this thought, and I can't pronounce the name of the French person who was part of the French Revolution, took that thought, refined it, and got the word ideology, however the French word of that is, which I don't know. So I do know, but I can't pronounce it in French, obviously. That's what I meant. And it's based on two Greek words. And you don't need to look at the document to know what the two words are. So we'll do it now. Ideology. So you can see it sounds like two words. Everyone knows the first one. Can all shout out? Idea. So that's the bit that he got from John Locke. So idea. And what's the second word? Logic. So you can see that already in ideology. So someone said logic, but it's not actually logic because logic isn't a Greek word. Logos. And we've done several studies on logos and what it means. So you put the two words together, idea and logos, and you get the word ideology. So when it was first developed in France, was it a negative thing or a positive thing? It's a positive thing. And if you've got the concept of logos or logic, put that with idea, we can all have a guess of what that word meant in that era. You would have ideas that are logical. Yeah? Is that what you said? So if you have a series of ideas or thoughts, they need to be logically thought through. If you haven't read the document, so why would they want to do that? This French revolutionist comes up with this idea. Who's he preaching to? Because there are two people in France. We'll call them the royalists, or those upper class, if you're English, those who follow the monarchy. And the revolutionists. Who's he speaking to? We're all okay? Speaking to the revolutionists. Because what are they doing wrong? Do they have ideas? They all have ideas. Sorry? So they've got ideas, but the ideas aren't going to go anywhere. They're not thought through properly. So today we would call that fast brain. Perhaps. Not exactly, but. And he says, if we're going to have a successful revolution, our ideas need to be thought through properly. So that's how the word ideology was born. It's a very positive, good thing. And then it gets weaponized by two people or two groups. Napoleon, would he like ideology? Put your hands up if you think he would like ideology. So put your hands up if you think he wouldn't like ideology. So Napoleon, does he want to be a revolutionist or a royalist? He wants to be a royalist. He wants to be the king. So he doesn't want the revolution to succeed. So he's opposed to ideology. We've got to be careful. We're not saying he doesn't have an ideology, but he's opposed to ideology, because ideology is a thing now. It's the plan that the revolution needs to have. Are we okay with that? And then decades later, we have, we'll call it, say, the Soviet Revolution or Marxism, all of that stuff. And they're going to use it in a very similar way that the French Revolutionists used it. And then it comes to our generation. And now we've got our own thoughts or definitions of what the word means. And today, ideology means all things to all people. So whoever you are, you can have your own version of ideology and what it means. Positive or negative, individual or group. So it's a really broad term now. So that's a brief historical understanding of ideology. You can look through the documents in your own time. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. So I'm not going to read the documents. But I just want to take out some points. So today, in the past, what did it mean? It meant the study, that's the logos bit, of ideas, the study of ideas. And today we think of it quite differently. So if you're in the document, I'm looking at definition number 2, the last part. So it's broadened from just the study of idea which is a science, really, isn't it? To a system of ideas. And the difference between a study of ideas and a system of ideas is what? System of ideas. So I'm going to change. Hopefully, we know what study of ideas mean. We're going to have a model that's logical and consistent. So that's the first one. Then it's gone from that to a system of ideas. So I want to suggest a system of ideas is a belief. So that's why we might think of ideology connected to religion, for instance, or conservatism, or any kind of ism, Adventism, Marxism. It's a set of beliefs. That's what I think system of ideas is. And as soon as you do that, does everybody know what the word pejorative means? Oh, not, anybody? I'm not pejorative. I'll give a basic one. It means negative. So unless someone wants to give a better one. Okay, so we've got negative. Could be mocking, puts people down. So at the broadest sense, it's pejorative means negative. Yeah. So have a look, get a dictionary definition for yourself to see what the details of it. But it's something bad. So it started off as good. Now it's come to a set of beliefs. And almost anybody who's got a set of beliefs is bad today. So that's why it has all these negative connotations to it. Anybody have any questions? Okay, so hopefully we're still okay to use the word ideology. And hopefully we're still using it in its accurate sense. Any questions or comments? So I'm just going to read. This is from definition number 3, I think. It's point number 4. I'm just going to read it so the translators can do that. Whilst the Marxist and Napoleonic negative connotations persisted, the 20th century saw the term broaden to encompass more general meanings, which is how we do it. It means more general things. So sometimes it's negative and sometimes it's positive. So we have the word ideology. So we've just had a discussion on the documents. This is ideology. Documents 1 and 2 in your notes. So someone just give me some really simple, basic synonyms of ideology. And yep. And the reason why it's 2 and 3 is because number 1 was that initial definition that we had. That's why these are 2 and 3. Just some simple understanding of ideology so we can work with it. A doctrine, a mindset, is that correct spelling? It doesn't look correct. P-H-O-L-O-O-L. P. Thank you. Someone said something else? Sorry? Belief. Okay, so we'll go with those ones. I'm going to add one. Idea. I won't uppercase that. I don't want to say my one's better than everyone else. Idea. Are we okay with that? I just went with idea because that's what ideology comes from. Sorry? Most of us wouldn't think to put the word logic. If I said, this person's got an ideology, tell me what it means. I think we'd say they have a belief or they have an idea. We wouldn't say they have a logic. Is that okay? So before we went to the definition of the word, how it's constructed. And it basically meant a systematic set of ideas. But we don't use that. We don't use the word like that anymore. So I'm just going to go with the words that we've got here. I'm just going to use the word idea in our class. Okay, so just want to go back to our previous classes. We'll come back to this in a moment. Hopefully we're going to use this. We've got a beast and a woman. And we've asked several questions about these two powers. Now, I want to call them things, these two things. We have said that this is state. By the way, state means government. How do we know the beast is a government or a state? Where do we get the idea from? Tamina? From the word kings. And then we have the word woman. And we've been stuck on what a woman would be. So, can you find what woman would mean in the chapter? Like it says kings. Tamina? Just yes or no? Show me where. The verse or the so we'll go to the verse if you don't know it.
Babylon, the great city.
So a city, I'm going to say, is a society or a government. So she is a state.
Sounds
Yes or
like
no?
it. Sounds like it, yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
So she's a state now. Yep. Andres? Same thing. So if you go to the chapter, she's a state. Anybody want to comment on that? Is it the same state or a different state? Can you work that out? Blessing said yes. Is that just because it says Babylon, the city, and the king, the earth? Okay. Do you want to explore that, or are we okay just to say they're different states? Question. Charity, then Curtis.
From the chapter, it sounds to me like there's a distinction.
We've already said there is a distinction. One's Babylon and one's something else.
So that's what we're saying there.
I haven't
So
told you what the,
state.
but do you agree it's a state?
Yes. And I was saying beast, it sounds like it's focusing on the ruler, the king.
I don't know what you're saying, sorry. The beast is state or not state?
King.
Just the head of the state,
Yes.
not the state.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
And woman?
State, government.
Not just a city.
Okay, that's what I can think for now.
Okay, Curtis?
Um, I don't know if you're saying that as fact, woman equals state.
Tamina did, and Blessing did, and Andreas did. And do you need to carry on? Yeah. Repeat what you said.
My question would be to the people that put that there is it says city, it's different to king. So it could have just said king. So why is it making that distinction?
And your answer is?
Because there must be a difference.
The beast is state. You okay with that?
Sure.
And the woman is?
I don't know. I'm just saying it seems that it's different. Like a city is different to a state.
State is the word I made up. Not in the verses.
Sure.
So
Okay.
tell me what the beast is.
Okay, so then a city seems different to a king.
It says kings of the earth.
Mhm.
So city is different to earth. Is a king of the earth a state? Is that a reasonable synonym?
Sure.
And is a city a reasonable synonym for a state as well? Without getting into the complexities of how big a country is and city or whatever.
So not in terms of scale, but in terms of political capacity, they seem different.
We're just looking at the nature, not capacity.
I think, yeah. So
Do the
by
same?
capacity, I mean nature, as in what their job function is.
So you don't see a city as a state. It's a small one. I don't know why I don't know what the struggle is.
Yeah.
You agree then? Got two states. Okay.
All I was asking for was proof. I just wanted us to, yeah, I wanted to know how we got to that conclusion.
How did you get to the conclusion? You just got to it.
it was in my question, what job does a city do and what job does a state do? A king. And from our conversation, the same thing, just at different scales.
Okay. Any questions on this side? Not comments, questions. Blessing, you're in the middle. Any other questions on this side? In a minute.
So what I wanted to say is the modeling used in Revelation 17 points us to the history of Babylon. And historically, Babylon was a city-state. That's actually how the kingdom was. And I think that was different from the empire, because the city-state then had to conquer other states to become the Babylonian Empire. So I'm saying, just based on the history, the city is a legitimate placeholder for the state.
Okay, so you're just defending that position, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, Monica, sorry.
Can I think of it as, you know,
So you have a question.
question, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
That state would be like the whole country, the big state. And the woman state is like the capital city. And what is decided in capital city, the whole state does.
I think the simple answer is no.
Jednoduchá odpoveď je nie.
I'm going to go with no. I think the dynamics is different. So if we just went with the imagery, we'd see this. So we know it's not actually Babylon, don't we? We know it's not actually Babylon, unless we're expecting Iraq to rise up, become the premier superpower of the world. So when it says kings of the earth, is that literal? A literal earth with literal rulers? Is that all literal? Put your hands up if you think it's literal. Literal rulers living on this literal planet. It's not a trick. Not a trick question, yeah. Yes, yeah. It's all literal. When it comes to Babylon ruling over all of them, is that literal? No. Yeah, because it says earth. Is that a literal earth? I think you said yes. So is Babylon going to literally rule all the rulers of the earth? No. So we know we can't just read that in a literal sense. Question? Comment?
That when you say the kings, is it literal? I think it's still not literal in the sense that it's not the concept of a king as they understood it when they wrote this.
Did you hear the last bit? King
as they understood it when it was written, or like as the actual concept, literal concept of a king. As in it translates to state, so it's still not, there's a translation, I think, from literal to a spiritual.
Sure. I think I agree with that. You'd have to go through all history and say anybody who's a ruler always a king, and we know the answer to that is no. Anybody want to comment?
I just wanted to add that it's also not all the earth.
Yes. But it's the planet, I guess. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody not okay? Everybody okay? So what we then did was, yesterday, we looked at a beast and we looked at a woman. And what did we say about those symbols? Just put your hands up if you want to speak. Everybody can speak, by the way. We don't have to. Please. What did we said it's the beast and a woman, and we made some observation about them, about those symbols.
Anyone else?
No, you go first. You were first.
That they're separate entities. They're two distinct entities.
How do you know the two distinct entities?
Just going through the conversation we had yesterday in the class.
I don't know what that means. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay. That there is the word that we use is ride, which we use synonymously with control. So if something is being controlled, it means that there's something, a noun, that is doing a verb on another noun. That is doing an action on another noun.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
Does everybody understand what he just said?
No. Gosh. So in the verse, it talks about something that's doing something, riding, controlling,
To something.
to something. Yeah.
So we've got something being a noun and a verb.
No, the verb is control.
So you said doing something to something.
Oh, something.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that not
Yeah.
enough?
Did it help? I'm not being funny. But it's just not easy.
Sure.
When you said we did it yesterday, I can't remember what we did yesterday. We'll stop for a second. We have no idea yet. We are getting to the idea. Okay, let's start again.
Okay.
I have a beast and a woman.
Okay.
I don't have gold.
Yes.
So I asked, why choose a beast and a woman to describe this story?
For me, the key word in this story is rides.
Does that answer my question?
I think so.
Okay.
Others say no, so.
Okay. Control. Right. Are you giving up?
Wow.
You seem like you're giving it away.
I mean, I'm satisfied with what I've said, but others aren't.
Okay, so you're giving up.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have your hand up or not, Charity?
Yes. From what we said yesterday,
No, just tell me the answer, not what we said yesterday.
we said beast. We said the symbols identify two autonomous entities. That work in and of themselves.
That what?
Work and when one is riding the other,
Yeah, but we love
the one is giving up its will, or its will is being taken away by the other. So the key is there are two autonomous or two entities that function in and in themselves.
In and of themselves, I don't
Yes.
think means anything, but okay. Arian. I want an answer that that resonates with us, and control isn't part of that answer. I'll repeat the question again. Arian will repeat the question, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, because you might say it better because they may not understand what I'm saying.
So I think the question was, what I'm referring to yesterday, because that was part of the question, I think. What did we say yesterday about those two symbols? That's what I remember of being the question. And we went through Daniel 2, there's gold and metal. And as you go down, prophecy becomes clearer, what the entities, what the symbols become clearer. So the fact that that Babylon consists of two, for example. And then at the end, in Revelation 17, you see a person and a beast. And the context is that we all know that persons control beasts. So it's beast and woman, or beast and person are have been there for a reason, or are there for a reason. Because by its nature in the world, when we look around us, it's that humans ride beasts.
All good? So you're God, and you want to explain how this warfare is operating, what's going on. And you're limited by language, by understanding. because humans are just dumb in comparison to God.
Pri porovnaní s Bohom.
So you want to give the same story over and over again. And you want to make different points about the same story so we can get a more comprehensive understanding. So you're God and you want to tell the story of the great controversy. And you need to describe two powers, yourself, your kingdom, and the enemy's kingdom. And just as an aside, your kingdom is the hardest one to describe. That's not what we're doing here. We're describing the enemy's kingdom. So you tell your people, the enemy looks like this: gold, silver, brass, iron. Why did you do that? Why did you tell these humans the enemy is gold, silver, brass, iron? You're trying to teach them something. What are you trying to teach them? Why do that? No, let's get Mike first. Sorry.
To see the difference between the enemy's kingdom and God's kingdom.
No. Buddy.
To show that your enemies are powerful and wealthy.
No. To answer straight out of Spirit Prophecy. So I'm not making this one up. Anyone else on the human side? Okay. God's going to tell you what it all means. Go, Arian. I wasn't going to do Curtis. You know that.
To see the degradation of those different kingdoms.
Okay, so there's two things you're going to show them.
Degradation, because it goes from gold to iron. But you also see
Oh, they already know the answer.
it
No.
becomes harder.
Harder.
The metal becomes harder.
What's that?
It becomes more severe, more evil.
Evil. Curtis? You had your hand up? You can say exactly that. Okay? Who said something here? Who? Go. No, you've got to wait. Okay.
Value and strength.
Value and strength.
Degradation and strength.
So the kingdoms become less powerful. Degradation of material. But they also become more powerful. Because iron can crush anything. Even says it in the verse, chapter 2. So you've taught your people that there's this glorious kingdom, gold, that starts off this warfare, and it's the weakest of all the kingdoms that are going to follow through. And the last one, which is the most worthless kingdom, ends up being the strongest one. So that's one story. Maybe you can't get that much out of it. We jump to Revelation 17. And now you want to teach them something different about the same stories. So now you want to describe that same kingdom in different ways. Do you want to comment? No. Okay, so no. So I'll carry on then. So what you want to now do is show that from the very beginning, there were two elements. And as you go to Daniel 2, when you go to the feet, even if you don't understand what all those words or symbols mean, what you do know is that there are now two elements and there's a problem. Even if you don't fully understand the last part of Daniel 2, you know there's a problem in the feet. And what's the problem? The problem is that these two elements that are coming together by nature aren't supposed to come together. So they're very different in nature. So you get a clue there. So when you come to Revelation, what you want to show the people, your people, is that these two elements have been there from the very beginning. And from the very beginning, what was their relationship? We'll say, we'll give you the choice, good or bad. Someone said good, someone said bad. So if you think it's good, think of a wild stallion horse, which is the image that someone gave us yesterday, this beast. And now you're going to control it. Does it want to be controlled? So if you thought or said good, would this horse want to be controlled? Okay. If you think of yourself as a king, do kings want to be controlled? Because what's the definition of a king? Ruler. The one who controls. So what you want to show is that right from the beginning, the enemy had two parts to it which didn't like each other. Had two very different ideas. We'll put it that way. So, how would you describe that? You've done the metal one, material. Now you want to find you have to find a symbol that works for super intelligent people, not clever people. People that can go back 2,000 years and jump 2,000 years. Has to cover everybody, even kindergarten children. So you have to come up with some clever symbol that works, which is, when you think about it, quite difficult. And the point that you want to make is that these two parties think very differently. So God has an animal and a human. 3. So we'll do that afterwards. You've got a human and an animal. And you're going to choose them. Why? Why would you choose that and not something else? Because you want to show a certain thing. What do you want to show now? Tamina? No. Not the relationship between the two. You got your hand up now? Not yet. Over there, because the mic's on that. We'll go with Gabriella, then Gail. Or Gail. No, Gail and Gabriella.
Okay, when we spoke about the beast the first time, we found that the beast in equilistics you spoke about.
You just tell us what you think.
Oh, okay. I think that you have this beast, which equal to a person, and then you have the beast in Revelation 17, which is the animal. And with this animal, you had an agency.
What does agency
Human and
mean?
beast.
Tell me what agency means.
Which has its will. It's like the woman has a will, and the beast also has its will to think. A will.
All done?
Yes.
Gabriella?
I was just gonna say one has a will and the other one doesn't. Like the animal, you can control it. They have their own.
Have you ever had a pet? What? What was your pet?
I have a dog.
You have a dog. And are you suggesting your dog doesn't have a will?
But I can control him.
My question was, are you suggesting that your dog doesn't have a will?
He has.
Okay. So why choose the beast and a human, an animal and a human?
I thought it was because one I can control and the other one not.
So let's go just to the first point, not go ahead of ourselves. Because they both have will. So you agree they both have will? Okay, so go to Lizanne.
Could it be that God has chosen these symbols because he then brings us back to Genesis as well, where he says men should rule the animal world? Have dominion?
So when we try to look at this, we've got to put our minds like God would think. And I think I made a mistake in my question because I should have just said two living things. So they've both got free will. And now we're going to choose one as a human and one as an animal. So Gabriella has said, because that's what humans do, control animals. And Lisanne has taken us back to Genesis and given us a reference point for that fact. More? Does anybody go around or? Curtis? Anybody else? Oh, then Peter. Curtis, then Peter, because she's got the mic.
all I wanted to, all I think I wanted to say is that God wants to juxtapose them, force them together to show their differences. Because God could have used a human beating another human into submission. But God wants to show that these are different things.
So God wants us to see that they're different in nature.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody got not from what has been said so far, does anybody have any problems with that? Just put your hand up. No. Okay, Peter.
I would like to add to Curtis.
Vůle zvířete je na nižší úrovni než vůle člověka.
The will of an animal is lower than the will of a human.
A víme, že člověk může použít to, co zvíře nemůže.
And we know that human can use what animal cannot.
Umí vymyslet prostředky, jak to zvíře ovládat.
It can come with tools how to control the animal.
Přestože to zvíře tomu nerozumí, ale poddá se nakonec.
Even though the animal doesn't understand it, it complies.
A říkám jednu myšlenku, že v přírodě není přirozené, že by člověk jezdil na šelmě.
And one more thought that in a nature, it's not usual that human would ride a beast.
That what?
That human would ride a beast.
Would guide.
Right.
It's not normal.
Not normal.
Okay.
A ještě možná jednu věc, že mi to připomíná ten rozdíl mezi tím zvířetem a tím ovládajícím člověkem, že on použije něco, čemu to zvíře nerozumí, ale mi to připomíná tu nadpřirozenou moc.
Co ti to připomíná mezi zvířetem?
Že člověk ovládá zvíře, mi připomíná nadpřirozenou moc.
And that human controls the animal that shows the supernatural power.
So you don't think it's normal that humans control or ride animals?
Nemyslíš si, že je normálne, že človek ovládá alebo jazdí zvířaty?
To myslím, že je normální.
I think it is normal.
I thought you said it wasn't.
Ale šelma není kůň.
So maybe I misunderstood.
The beast isn't a horse.
Without labeling what the beast is it not natural that humans ride beasts? Animal. Is it not normal that humans ride animals? I thought you said it isn't. It doesn't matter. I'm saying animals, any kind of animal.
Ja myslím celkovo ako zviera, aké povedzte.
It is or it isn't.
He says, okay, but it's not tiger or lion.
It's not tiger or lion. I've seen people ride. The point is, you don't have to go to a specific animal. The point is that what humans do? If I look at two species, tell me any species that controls lions on this planet. any species that controls lions? Forget ride, controls. Is there one?
I don't think so. Maybe human in circus.
So you do know
Yes.
the only species that controls lions are humans.
Yes.
So it's a natural thing.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 10 minutes. Does anybody have anything to take us further as opposed to just repeating what we've already said? If you haven't, I'm going to cut you off because we've already got 10 minutes. Whoever has got their hands up.
So my idea is that both have a will, but when it comes to one controlling another, there's only one way solution.
A one-way solution, you said. Okay. Over here.
So I was thinking about what Curtis was saying about the difference in nature. I think I agree that there's a difference in the nature, but it's not about the will aspect of the nature. Because this is a woman that's on the desert, and it seems to me that the reason why they would be riding a beast on the desert is because they
I'm going to stop you. Why choose a beast and a woman?
because they both have will and one is more powerful than the other.
Okay. So that's what everyone else has already said. Okay, so if we're all in agreement with that, we're choosing symbols now because we want to show that these two entities think for themselves. If we're okay with that, then we see that humans by nature control animals. Are we okay with that? It's a natural thing that that would happen. So we've got womanist state here. So I'm going to ignore that for the time being. So I'm going to strike that through. It's not that it's not true. I'm just going to ignore it. So if we have these kings, let's now look at some characteristics of a king. What would we define a king as? So ruler is this a synonym? Someone said power. So I'll go with power. Underived power.
Influence.
Right?
Influence.
So I'm going to say supreme ruler. Okay, so if it was a pyramid, the ruler would be at the top. So no one can be above a king. Are we okay with that? So now we go to that natural model. We have a supreme ruler. And now we have a problem, because if this is the supreme ruler, how can you have something controlling it? Them. So if you were a king, how could someone control you? What mechanism would they have? What power would they have to be able to control you? Because you own everything and everybody. You put your hands up. We'll go with Mark. He hasn't spoken for a while. Does anybody there put your hand up so I can see?
I want to ask, or you answer your question. I think, for example, when there's a king, he has some advisors and they have influence over the opinion of the king. The people under the king have the power to protest and lay down all their work. So that's a form of influence that the king needs to be aware of, because he can lose very easily his power.
Anyone else? So you've given two, you've said force. People force their will in opposition to the king. And what's the king's option then? Just crush them.
The king needs to choose how he wants to rule. If he wants to be a dictator, then he just send his army and crush them, or he goes in conversation.
It's too long. There's many options to this story. Tell me what this one is. Is this woman a revolution that's overpowering the king?
I think so. It must be, and because there's no other way.
So altogether, Mark gave us two options. I've called it a revolution. And he said advisor. They're the two options, I think. Which one do you think this story is depicting? An advisor or a revolution?
I think it's small, so an advisor.
Advisor.
Yeah. Like Stephen Miller.
Who?
Like Stephen Miller in the situation where
Yes.
Trump
Okay.
now.
Arian, you had your hand?
I thought about a marriage, but that's probably the same as advisor level.
Okay. Vadim? I don't think anybody was there. You had your hand up or not?
I was thinking about subversion, and there was another word, but it goes to advisors also, but it's manipulation and subversion.
Well, I don't know what subversion means.
Manipulation.
Who's manipulating? Someone.
Someone is manipulating the king without him knowing, because he.
Anyone else? What's my question? So I said, everybody knows humans controlled animals. That's natural. We agree with that. But the animal is actually a supreme ruler. It's not a wild horse. How do you go about controlling a supreme ruler? What mechanisms are there to do that? What dynamics can you think of that would control supreme rulers? This question? Esther?
Wollte Daniel nicht in die Grube schieben lassen, aber das Gesetz sagte es. Er musste es tun.
Darius didn't want to throw Daniel in the lion den. But the law said he had to.
Who said?
The law.
Who said?
The law.
The law is not a who.
Just translate it.
His advisors. Next one.
What's the next one?
Uh, sorry.
I was thinking of
Justine.
deception. Can it be a mechanism as well? Like in the...
Does it have to be deception? Which is what Vadim said.
I thought of the example of King Herod, for example. Salon.
There's plenty of examples.
Mhm.
I'm asking, does it have to be deception?
It doesn't have to be, but it's an example that... Because isn't you asked how can the king be controlled? What's the mechanism? It can be deception.
Could be. But it might not be deception. Might be agreement.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyone? Tamina? Oh, sorry, you had your hand down. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, yes. No, I was just gonna say, like, back to the example of Babylon, the way they did it was as
Don't give me examples because I let her do that, but I don't want to.
Ah.
Tell me how you do that. How do you control the supreme ruler?
you have to conquer it, I guess.
Yeah, that's control.
Yeah.
My question is how?
I don't understand, like, what kind of answer you want.
You could get a big army and beat him up. So that would be the answer.
Okay. Yeah, that's my answer.
Get a big army and beat them up.
For example, yes.
Okay. So we know that can't be right because this is a supreme ruler. She's bigger than everyone else.
No, because there's multiple ones. So by definition, which one's bigger?
Have we run out of time? We ran out of time. I'm at hour 15 minutes. I got in trouble yesterday, so I'm closing. No, I got in trouble yesterday. For those online, we are now closing. Apologize. Not for closing, but we're going to carry on off camera. But if I don't close, people aren't. The translators are not happy. Let's pray. Holy God, we thank you that you would guide, direct, and bless us. Help us to come to a common understanding of your word, that we might receive the blessing that you have been desperate to give to us. You shared these symbols centuries ago. Maybe you thought they would be easy for us to understand. But we're struggling. Therefore, we ask that the Holy Spirit would enlighten our hearts and our minds so that we would clearly understand what you're trying to teach us. In Jesus' name, amen. So